Hey, hey, Coach Sid. I am here with reporter and journalist with Business Daily Africa, Ndugu Abisai. Did I say it correctly?
Correctly.
All right. This is just a quick rehearsal because we're going to have a conversation. Ndugu's going to ask me questions. Topic today will be belly fat reduction, hip fat, those things. And hopefully it'll be informative for everyone.
Looking forward.
Boop.
We good?
Yeah, we're on.
Okay. So Sid, we have been talking so much about visceral fat
Yes.
and how to manage. It's becoming a pandemic, if we can say that.
Yeah.
For many people, and we are seeing a lot of people going out looking for quote unquote unnatural ways, quick fixes and shortcuts to manage fat around their bellies. So I'll jump right into it.
Okay.
Maybe we get to understand what are the causes of belly fat specifically, and how do hormone stress and age play a role in all this.
Okay. Okay. Oh, first, guys, if you don't know, this is journalist Ndugu Abisai. He has been producing articles on wellness, fitness
Yes.
for Business Daily Africa. He had a conversation with me last July where they were following some of my exercise routines regarding me being, what was I? That was July. That was 8 months ago.
Yeah.
I'm now 63.
Whoa. You are 62 then?
Yeah, I was 62 then. According to the article, there's no proof. Find my birth certificate. So anyway, what you were just asking me, so we'll dive right in, but I just want you to know that this is a fine journalist who took the time to ask me to talk to him again. So before we get into what you were saying, I just want people to understand that there's science and there's a lot of technobabble, and truthfully, a lot of people are just using big words to make themselves look important because they're selling their channels or whatever. And I don't want to do that. Let's talk about the things that work in a way that people can use. So when you're choosing a doctor, because anything that I say, I don't want to be misconstrued. I don't want it to replace the advice of your physician. Okay? All I can tell you is choose your physician wisely, because you have to rely on him. You know, in America, that's, you know, I responsibly must tell you this. But find a physician that understands functional medicine, preventative medicine, and that can help you with lifestyle changes that will give you the results that where he doesn't have to give you drugs and suggest medication and expensive procedures. Okay, so you mentioned hormones, stress, and age regarding belly fat. Now, let's be clear when we're talking about belly fat, because there's two types of fat, of course, that we typically describe. They're both adipose tissue. They're adipose fat. It's just that one is on the outside. Okay, it is subcutaneous. And I call that the good guy fat. It's safe fat. It's meant for a reason. It stores fuel to be used when there's less food. Okay? And your body can store tens of thousands of calories of it for times where you're not getting a lot of food. Of course, most people can't access it, and they rely on carbohydrates for fuel. So they store a lot of fat, but they never access it and spend it. They just store it, but they don't spend it. They're just spending glycogen or sugar as fuel. And your body only stores a few thousand calories of that. Your liver and your muscles, you may store like 3,000 calories of glycogen. That's why building muscle does help with blood sugar regulation. The more healthy muscle you have, you can store a little bit more. But even if you have a lot of muscle, it's a finite amount that you can store. Your body can store many times more fat that you can access. Unfortunately, the reason we get belly fat is that we have high insulin and we can't access that fat. We're not getting to it. So that's the strategy. This fat out here is safe, but there's the visceral adipose tissue that surrounds our organs. We're talking our liver, our pancreas, our kidneys, even in our colon, and for God's sake, our hearts. Our hearts can get loaded with this as well. Now, this fat is dangerous, and it is, what did I write down? It is the main determinant. I want to be exact for you guys. I don't want to mislead you. It's the main determinant of insulin resistance. It's intra-abdominal. It's under the muscle here and surrounding our organs. It's not that fat you can pinch. And it releases hormones, inflammatory chemicals called cytokines. And it increased the risks of type 2 diabetes, heart disease, dementia, stroke, high blood pressure, all of the things that are these issues that plague us now. That's the pandemic that we've seen exploding since the 1980s in the West. And here, it's coming on strong too. So that's what we're talking about. Now, we're talking about belly fat because belly fat is how you know that you are suffering from insulin resistance, hyperinsulinemia, and you have that nasty, reactive, inflammatory fat in your body. This we have to address. Now, we're talking about hormones. Yes, hormones. Stress is a major contributor to this.
Also.
Yes. But remember, if you remember from the notes I gave you from these questions, I don't worry about age as much as others that want to tell you about different ages and what to do. Let's not make this overly complicated. Learning these good habits work at every age. And you'll have a longer and better quality of life and a longer health span by learning the basic principles of wellness, where your diet is well balanced, where you're meeting your nutritional macros, protein, fat, and a reduction in your carbohydrate piece of that macro pie. You can address this. I hope that gives you a quick answer. I don't mean to run on. Please.
It's okay. Now, you've spoken about subcutaneous and visceral fat.
Yes.
How do you assess whether belly fat is either subcutaneous or visceral? And does the approach differ from each?
I was watching a lecture from Dr. If I mess up your name, Dr. Jamnadas, I'm very sorry. Indian doctor, and he described I've heard him say terms like tofu, thin on the outside, fat on the inside, because in that what would you call it? Is that East Asian culture, India, all that? He says that people don't look fat, but they have just as high diabetes and heart disease and hyperinsulinemia.
Wow.
You just don't see it. But he can tell. He says he could tell when you walk into his office if you're suffering from this, because from the back you won't see the fat. Your waist looks pretty normal, but when you turn to the side, that's where you see the belly fat. And as soon as he sees that, that is his signal that this is what we're dealing with: is hyperinsulinemia, pre or diabetes or pre-diabetes, and this insulin resistance is the main culprit of all of these diseases, these outcomes that then must be treated with drugs and medication that can be prevented and treated through lifestyle changes. But yeah, when you see a family member come into the room and they look normal till you see them sideways and then you see it, you're like, that's it right there. So that's a quick way that you can kind of know what you're dealing with. The difference between this dangerous inflammatory fat and then the fat on the outside, the kind you can pinch when you pinch your mommy, butter loaf. That fat's not going to kill her. She can go hiking with her friends on the weekend. That fat is not going to cause her the heart disease. That's why obesity is associated with early death and cancer and everything. But let's look at this with more nuance. Some of this fat is not what's killing you. We have to deal with the metabolic illness underneath that's causing fat around our organs on the inside. We deal with that, we'll breathe easier. Imagine that fat inside of there compressing and putting pressure on your heart, your organs. It's stressing you out, even mechanically. Breathing and exhalation, all of these functions, these natural functions, are impaired by this visceral, active, inflammatory fat that's just gumming up the works. If I can make it sound like that, think of it that way, Okay, what's next?
Okay. Now, we've in a way spoken about now this disposition of fats, and for many people who realize this, you've spoken about a doctor, they would want to start dealing with it, to live healthier lifestyles.
Yeah.
So what realistic timelines should one expect for noticeable belly fat reduction?
Yeah.
If they're being consistent with the things you've said.
Well, I remember when you prepped me with this question, what I wrote was, good question, it depends. And it really does depend.
Yes.
Because some levers that you pull, some changes you might make, you may not see results immediately, although you're still moving in the right direction. People want to see dramatic results quickly, and that would require a dramatic change, a revolutionary change done quickly, which might upset you even more, and it would be difficult to do. You might turn back and reject those changes because you didn't do them gradually and in a more holistic, natural, organic way. You know, I coach people in doing things step by step, where you make small changes, but they're done consistently. And then over time, you have found yourself in a different destination. What did I mention about the cruise ship? If we start moving the rudder just a few degrees, you don't see the change immediately. But once it goes 100 kilometers down crossing the ocean, you'll be 1,000 kilometers in a different location with you'll be in a different place. And the same is true of your health. So I would not tell a person to look for immediate change. Now, some things done, sacrifices or changes made, you'll feel better immediately. Put it like this. If you took 30 days off of just drinking alcohol, wine, beer, spirits, 1 month, okay, you'll start feeling a difference in a few days because you'll stop pressuring your liver and you'll start to sleep better. That means you'll start feeling better and have more energy during the day because your sleep is doing its proper job. Dr. Sleep is active and doing his regenerative work while you sleep because your body's not dealing with a neurotoxin where it can never get to flushing the trash out in your brain or refreshing your hormones. So it can't do that if you're dealing with poison. So even some of these small changes will make you feel better immediately. But if you want to cut inches off your waist, now we're talking about a process where you pull the levers of nightly fasting, of eliminating toxins in your diet, like alcohol and overabundance of starches and carbohydrates, increasing your protein intake of high quality protein, eating healthy fats rather than the ones that are filled with omega-6s, inflammatory fats like the cooking oils, the processed seed oils that they sell us for cheap here in Kenya and back in the United States. Poor people are buying it because it's affordable. And then they make the high quality fats, butter, ghee, extra virgin olive oil, they make them more expensive so that we can't afford it. So they're like, you know, they're pressing us into inflammation. We're going to find ways out of this to help everyone here and there.
Amazing.
Yeah. So back to this, timelines. If you cut out dangerous habits, you'll start feeling better almost immediately. But the changes that you want to last a lifetime, don't think in terms of days or week. Let's think in terms of 3-month blocks, 6-month blocks. If you really want to think about time, give yourself realistic expectations. You're not going to be running half marathon 21Ks immediately if you're not an athlete. You're going to do a walking program. You're going to do some moderate exercise even just in your home. You're not going to go out and buy outfits and buy an expensive membership. You're going to walk around your neighborhood and do some exercises in front of a TV watching an exercise video on YouTube. You're going to do those little things. You're going to work on getting your sleep. You're going to drink good, clean water. You're not going to put sugary drinks in your body and follow fad diets. You're going to give yourself digestive rest at night. Now you're thinking, let's say this is February, this is mid-February. If we were starting this if you were working with me and we started now, I would say we're going to really measure your waist every week, but then we're going to graph it, and then we're going to see where we are in 3 months. 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. In 3 months, you'll see, hopefully if we've done this, and you haven't been cheating and drinking beer every weekend, if you haven't been cheating, you're going to see a couple of inches off of your waist. You see? But you'll be feeling so much better. You'll be like, let's continue. Now, if I put you on a liquid diet, something like that, and you're going to drink these juices, your insulin is going to remain high. You're going to be craving and miserable the whole time. And then when you go back to refeeding, you're going to get fatter because you damaged your lean body mass You've lowered your metabolic rate through calorie restriction, and you've caused mayhem. So I try to teach people to do this in a way where you get and stay stronger while reducing the assault on your organs.
Okay.
Hopefully that answers.
It does.
Okay. I'm using a lot of words. Sorry, guys. Sorry.
Understandably.
I'm excited. You know me. I love this stuff. I live to learn this and then share it.
Yeah. And you're doing quite a good job, because this is not information that is out there for free. It is information that people buy to access.
Right.
And
everyone wants to know, am I writing a book? And I'm like, no, I'm.
A book?
Yeah, I was asked that this morning. When's your book coming out? And I'm like, right now, let's do this for free. You know, someone will compile the history of what I share, and then we'll make an ebook. Okay, but for now, let's help people.
Okay.
I am in the third trimester of my life. I'm in semi-retirement. I'm an elder now, a young elder, still viable, but I'm a resource to you. Let's not profit off of it right now, because then that will become my motive. And then it's not love that leads me, but the bottom line.
True.
Well, what's the point? If I live 20 more years, I don't take it with me. If I live 30 more years, I just want to make sure that I don't starve, right? I don't have to be rich for that. Okay? My quality of life is already better than many rich people.
True.
And I don't own jewelry and fancy cars, and I don't have a mansion. Although I would like a ranch. I would like livestock.
Here in Kenya.
Yeah, of course.
I know of a place.
You know, we can make jobs and feed people, get the farm to table going. I want to live long enough to be a part of that. And then in America, let's change the subject. I don't know if I can fight Monsanto and the big companies that are keeping small farms out of business back in America. So anyway, so that's what I'm here for.
Okay.
No book coming. No book.
At least in the near future.
In the near future, not in the plans.
Okay, but digitally we can keep at this.
Digitally, we're going to help and share for quality of life of everyone. And then I'll try to reject offers to make profit, because somewhere they're going to ask me to, how do the actors say, like Dave Chappelle, then they're going to make me put on a dress, and then it won't be my comedy anymore.
True.
So we don't want that.
They will own you.
Yeah, we don't want that.
Okay. Now, which types of exercise? I know you've spoken about certain things that one can implement and timelines.
Right.
So let's get to the exercise or exercises.
Okay.
Which type of exercises are most effective for reducing belly fat? Is it strength training, HIIT, or steady cardio, or core work, and why?
Okay. I read this question yesterday. Mr. Abisai sent me these questions to look over because I wanted to be able to, in the written transcript, provide some links to some studies and resources that you can look up on your own to see where I'm getting some of my information. So I answered this question, none. Whether it be strength training, high intensity interval training or HIIT, whether it be steady cardio, like you get on a treadmill for an hour, core work, working your abs and back. You know, I've been training folks. I started my personal training business, my first one, I was certified in 1990 by the National Academy of Sports Medicine.
That is
back
36 years.
Yes. And back then you had to do hands-on qualification with master trainers watching how you worked with people. It's not like now where you just do an online test. Back then you had to do actual work with people, and you were measured on your way of how you handled with your client, just like a doctor with patients. And so back then, in truth, whether I exercised you for weeks or even months, without diet change, dramatic change in what you eat and drink, without addressing the things that we take for granted that assault our bodies and that keep you from accessing your belly fat and reducing this visceral fat, exercise won't address that. Any doctor in this field will tell you you must fast if you want to address visceral fat. I can exercise the hell out of you. You'll have a big, excuse my language, you'll have a big hecking bicep, but we won't address your belly fat unless nightly your insulin is low enough where your body can metabolize and take that pressure off of your organs. Without reducing that inflammation and pressure on your body your body can't do its restorative processes. Exercise, those limited stresses are affecting different systems. They're not lowering your insulin over time by having a steady blood sugar that's really going to give you the long-term results of lowering belly fat. And besides, if you're carrying around this extra weight, how much HIIT training can you do? High intensity interval training, you know, you would have an episode and we'd be calling the paramedics. I once led interval training classes. I did this in Dallas, working with a master trainer there, where people would come in that were already overweight, probably pre-diabetic or diabetic, and they tried to hang with the classes. And I was telling them, if you start to feel dizzy or ill, stop immediately. But they would want to keep up with the class, and then before you know it, they're dizzy, they're starting to sweat, they're going into shock. I'm calling the paramedic. I'm putting orange juice in them. I would keep that on the side in the fitness clubs for when amateurs came in thinking they can exercise this fat off in a month doing hard training. Okay, this is not The Biggest Loser TV show where they overtrain you and then cut calorie restriction dramatically. Don't trust any of that. If you look at those people that lost those dramatic weights and look at them a year later, they're fatter, they're sicker, because we never addressed the root cause and you never formed healthy habits that can last you a lifetime. We just put you in a boot camp, tortured you. You were miserable, sick the most of the time. You lost some weight on the scale, but it was nothing that you could continue in a lifetime with a pleasant, comfortable lifestyle where you're fit, happy, eating delicious foods, living with joy. You don't have that.
It's not sustainable.
It's not sustainable. So no, I do not recommend exercise. Although exercise is medicine. It is medicine. We must address your diet and your overall lifestyle and reduce the assaults on your glucose. Your high insulin must be addressed. And exercise is not the first lever I would pull to address that. They're all fine exercise regimens that you'll be able to enjoy even more once we address your insulin problem.
That is going to disabuse such a large function or a large fraction of people who are trying to do this. Because for many people, this has always been the beginning, the genesis of them thinking they can lose belly fat and the tip hips. But now this knowledge is disabusing most of what people believe.
Yes, we have to unlearn some of these misconceptions. Just like in the 80s where we promoted low-fat diets, now we understand that companies profited from that because they replaced the fat with sugar and salt, and because they were making hyper-palatable foods that were addictive. When fat causes satiety, which means you won't snack between meals. So they cut that out, gave you a bunch of sugar, and now you're constantly craving. Your insulin's high, and that's when the obesity epidemic began. We didn't know that it was going to cause all of this heart disease and dementia. No one could see that far down the road. Now we have to address this. So when you're young, let's say in your 20s, you can exercise off a lot of your fat. But that's because it hasn't gone so far down the road where your visceral fat has become a huge belly issue. You're still in your 20s. So your hormones are strong enough, you can exercise it off because it hasn't gone that, the ship hasn't gone that far off course. But that's still not the solution because you're still drinking beer on the weekends and eating mandazi, croissants, and muffins for breakfast without getting any protein in your first meal. You're not getting enough sleep in your 20s anyway because you're in your 20s. You have erratic sleep schedule, so your body is in a constant state of jet lag. You can get away with that, but by the time you're in your 30s, your organs are getting worn out and it no longer applies. So let's just start at any age with the habits that work.
Okay.
You see, you don't exercise off belly fat. You improve your lifestyle in all of these aspects. Moderate exercise and good sleep and recovery. A diet that focuses on high quality bioavailable protein, healthy fat, not inflammatory high omega-6 fat that they sell us so much, but healthy fat, which means some animal fats, guys. I know, we'll deal with plant-based later. And cutting the carbohydrate part of that pie. Okay, cutting it down to take the pressure off of your organs so you can heal and get to a norm that's healthy.
Now, I want us to address a certain demography of people who are 35, and specifically women, though we can actually, of course, address men. So how important is muscle building in reducing belly fat for this demography?
Okay, like I said, muscle building is important. Now we're dealing with women and these demographics. Let's start at, say, age 30, but we should go back to our Gen Zs as well. We want to do some strength training. It's mandatory in every decade of life. You should strength train. You should have your body doing difficult things, heavy weights, up to, say, RPE, rate of perceived exertion of 8, where you can only push out maybe 1 or 2 more reps, with supervision until you learn proper form. But yes, strength training is important. But as I said, okay, diet is an equal and more important part. Your lifestyle, your diet, and your sleep hygiene. Exercise, then you include that as well. As you improve your muscle function and mass and composition. Now, ladies, I want you to know that we're not increasing your muscles. You're not going to get hulky, okay? But the muscle composition changes. More blood vessels form within the muscle. More mitochondria are produced. And those are the little power plants that create energy in your muscle. That won't make them bigger, but boy, will they burn more fat. When your metabolism goes up because of more and higher quality mitochondria, you have more ATP. If you ever want to ask questions about this, hit me up on the side channel. You have more energy production, and you're burning more fat even when you sleep. Okay, so exercise is mandatory at all ages. Strength training, your cardio is important because your ability to take in oxygen and use it to burn calories. Okay, fat burns in the presence of oxygen. Every trainer is taught this. So your cardiovascular training, your aerobic work is highly important because it helps you to burn body fat. Okay, and it's because you're able to utilize more oxygen and your circulation is improved. So overall, you're burning more fat during the day. So yeah, of course you have to exercise, but that's at every age. Okay, and you should learn to strength train early because by the time you're reaching peri and menopause and postmenopause, you should already be working on this. But don't worry, it's never too late to start, just so you know. But you should be working on your strength training. So for the ladies, please don't go on liquid juice diets. I beg you, because you're raising your insulin through drinking these juices. It's like drinking a soda. You think you're juicing healthy fruits and vegetables, but you're keeping high insulin. You're magnifying food cravings between meals. So you'll go on a juice fast and you'll lose some weight, but you're going to lose muscle and bone density. That's the last thing we want is sarcopenia and osteoporosis. Muscle loss and bone loss. You don't want that. You want to maintain your structural integrity. So no, you don't go on a sugar fast. In fact, all of the benefits of fasting are destroyed if you go on a liquid juice diet. It's destructive. I warn you strongly against it. And follow Dr. Amy Shah or any of the specialists in this space, and they will advise you against it. Okay, don't just listen to me. Reach out to me on the side, and I will push you in the direction of experts with the research behind them that will tell you the same thing. Listen to them. Okay.
Amazing. Now, that is linked to the next question that was about diet, and you've spoken so coherently about juice, sugary juice dieting and whatnot, or fasting. Is it restricted to these natural juices, freshly squeezed juices, or even the ones that are, commercially produced?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Let us keep in mind that if you are taking some fresh, nutritious fruits and getting juice out of it, of course, marginally it will be better than drinking some soda loaded with chemicals and additives and added high fructose corn syrup or sucrose or other sugars. Of course, it will have slightly more vitamin content. But we're talking about insulin. So what you need to know is this. Whether it is a Coca-Cola or if you put fruit in a juicer and liquefy it, when you drink them, your blood sugar shoots up, and then insulin has to come to the rescue.
Yeah.
In both cases, and it's that hyperinsulin, high insulin that is damaging you. Okay, this is what we have to lower: is the stress. You lower the insulin. So I would say, like many nutritionists will tell you, if you have some fruit, cut an apple in half. You can look it up and see how many calories and carbohydrates are in an apple. Cut it in half and cut some slices. Bite a slice or two. Maybe have a little fat with it, like some whole fat Greek yogurt, no sugar added, you know, or a slice of mature aged cheese, maybe some aged cheddar that they have here in Limuru, here near Nairobi. Oh, this is to die for. Maybe have a little cheese with it. You'll see in Europe the French do this. Have a little fruit, a little cheese with it. The fat will slow down the absorption of the sugar. The fruit hasn't been juiced, so the sugar is locked inside the cellular structure, so it's going to slow the absorption. Now you're not raising your insulin in a spike like this, a vertical spike. Now it's a more gradual spike. So you're already doing less damage. You're assaulting your systems less. But you can tell yourself that this fresh squeezed juice is the cure, but I will tell you, fuck it. Oh, sorry, we're gonna edit that out. I would say, fine, drink a cola, drink a soda, and then take a vitamin then. If you want to play that game with your body's systems, because what you're doing to your hormones is the same assault. You're having an identical profile.
No.
Okay.
No.
I hope that helps.
It does, huh? I feel like you've addressed also the next question, which was which foods or eating patterns commonly contribute to stubborn belly fat, even when one is exercising.
Yeah, because even if you're exercising, if your lifestyle habits aren't addressed, you're not going to have the results that you dream for.
Yeah.
You know. Now remember, for me, it's my job. So I live on more in a advanced state of affairs that most people don't want to address and make as many sacrifices. They want to have a glass of wine periodically. They want to have a little more carbohydrates. They want to have a little snack. They want to eat more restaurant food where you're going to get some of these processed oils. And you can probably find your own balance that can work with you if you're getting the results you want. If your doctor says your blood results are good, that's fine. But using carbohydrates as a condiment and not the main course would be a good place to start.
Okay.
Eating whole fruits when you eat them, eating them sparingly. In your choice of fruits, maybe you want to go from bananas to berries, because berries have less overall sugar attached to a handful of berries than eating a whole banana. A whole banana will have maybe 27 or so grams of carbohydrates, 4 grams per teaspoon is sugar. So about 7 teaspoons of sugar in that banana.
Wow.
6 to 7 teaspoons of sugar. And the little ones that we love here, each one of those little ones is about 18 grams of carbohydrates. So a couple of those, you're at 36. That's 9 teaspoons of sugar.
Wow.
For 2 of those little ones.
And you know, the most interesting thing about this conversation is that there have been things that, like you rightly said earlier, that need to be unlearned. And when you tell people not to eat bananas, they will.
Oh, I love bananas. I love bananas. But when I was 6 inches bigger here, breathing like this, going up the stairs, because of the 10 years I took off from exercise, where stress ruled my life, and I was overburdened, and I was drinking wine and smoking cigars with my friends. When I let myself go and my health and all of this deteriorated, coming back was a beast. That first year, I didn't have not one banana. That first year, I stuck to intermittent fasting of 18-6 or 16-8, which means at least 16 hours of digestive rest. Dinner by 6, and then I didn't eat again until 9 to 12 the next day. 9 a.m. to 12 noon the next day is when I would start eating again. And I had to be strict about it because I was in bad shape. Once I achieved my results, I took the foot off the brake a little bit. Now I have bananas here now. I offered you some bananas. I have bananas, but I have to share my bananas with staff here at this complex because I don't eat that many of them because I'm not constantly nagged by cravings. So I don't always have to put something in my mouth. I had a protein-filled breakfast. When you first arrived, I was finishing breakfast, and it had good protein. I had 2 slices of bread, buttered bread on my plate. I didn't eat them because I was filled up from the eggs and the beef sausage and the kimchi and the avocado. I was filled up, and I'm not hungry. You see? Because I didn't spike my insulin and spike cravings. If I was eating pancakes, I would have gobbled them down, and I'd probably be thinking, I could use some juice right now. Because I would have started a whole different metabolic hormonal process of constant craving. You see, you can beat this, and it's not about willpower. It's about learning new habits and unlearning the things that are sabotaging you. Sabotage.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry.
No.
You know I'm wordy.
It's okay. I am learning a lot even as I am gathering information for the reader later when I do this. Now, sleep is something off the record that we've spoken. This is not the first time you and I are having a conversation about sleep.
Yes.
And sleep quality,
Yes.
which also is related closely to stress management. So how do sleep quality and stress management affect belly fat, and what practical strategies do you recommend?
I'm going to read my notes. I want to get this exactly right. So I'm going to read this because I thought about this carefully and edited it last night. Okay? And I started off saying, Dr. Sleep. You know who I heard say Dr. Sleep first? A hip-hop artist and queen of hip-hop going all the way back, Erykah Badu.
Whoa.
From Dallas, Texas. You know, she's a doula, you know, helping with natural childbirth.
Yeah.
She's just an amazing human being. And so, you know, I've loved her music, but she said, Dr. Sleep in her Erykah Badu voice. And I think about that because sleep is your doctor, you know. It preserves your manhood if you're a man. It burns belly fat when done correctly. It resets your brain because proper sleep is the time where your brain, which builds up metabolic waste throughout the day, where it flushes that out. The brain contracts, the lymph fluid in your brain and old glia cells and dead cells are flushed out, and fresh fluid comes back into your brain. So in the morning you wake up refreshed. Now anytime you wake up and you're not refreshed, that means that something we did kept the brain from fully refreshing itself. So Dr. Sleep helps refresh your organs from your brain to down below. So your manhood depends on it. Feminine hormonal health depends on it. So these are the parameters. I'll read them. Over 7 hours a night, minimum, as much as you can. I understand life. On an empty stomach with no alcohol in the body is powerful. Cellular renewal and autophagy, cleansing of the brain's lymph fluid, your liver magic. The liver does over 500 processes, which it doesn't get to access if you're still dealing with the glass of wine you had before bed. It can't do it because it has to address the neurotoxin that you ingested. If you go to bed with food in your stomach, these processes cannot occur because you got undigested food burning in a slow burning. I heard another nutritionist say this, and it's all night slow burning dumpster fire in your gut. So you see, so you want that empty stomach. But that liver magic all occurs when your sleep hygiene is prioritized. So get your sleep right. Maybe take a walk after dinner within 30 minutes if you can. And then allow for 2+ hours between that last meal and bedtime. That can lower your insulin and allow the body to access that visceral fat that your body deeply desires to get rid of. Because as you can tell, it puts physical pressure on the organs. It causes inflammation, releases dangerous cytokines, and that will make you susceptible to cancer, dementia, all the diseases, because you're not strong. You're in a weakened, compromised state. Your immune system is compromised. You're fighting a losing battle unless we address this root cause. Dr. Sleep, that is one of the 3 pillars that I push. That is the exercise and recovery component of the 3 pillars of wellness. Sure, you must exercise, not too extreme. You exercise too extreme, you don't sleep as well.
True.
And if you're not sleeping as well in your training, that means you overtrain that day. Watch that. If it messes with your sleep, damn, I overtrained. I was supposed to run 10 kilometers. I got excited with my friends and ran 15. So then you overjumped your gradual increase in training load. You went like this. That's when you get injured. That's where you interrupt your sleep. Now you're going to see diminishing returns. Okay. So that's sleep is the foundation. So don't forget Dr. Sleep.
Stress management.
Woo! Where do we start? We are families. We have families and we work. My God. Everyone has to find their own way. We know some of these tools we've described will help. But what we didn't mention was meditation, group support, community, how that reduces stress. Now we know that people that have good relationships with their friends, their family, and their community live longer. Okay? If you're isolated and you don't have healthy relationships, I think that increases your stress and reduces your overall happiness, your happiness quotient, I'm sure. So reducing stress is all of those things. Finding ways to sleep better. Not eating a diet where you're constantly craving. Because if you're constantly craving, like a drug addict who craves heroin or cocaine or tobacco or alcohol, those are all stress. I'm fiending. That's stress. If you reduce this addictions in your food and sugar and all that, your body's under less stress. Your overall state of energy will be more relaxed because you're not craving. So that's reduction in stress. Meditating, having quiet time in the morning, keeping a journal, and so you can sort your thoughts. That's stress reduction. We can think of many ways. Think of the ways in your life that you can reduce your stress, but don't reach for an external, like a chemical or a drug. Let's find ways to do this internally through how we manage our habits, our sleep, and our lifestyles, and our relationships. You know, I met you at a community run. And then he mentioned that he was a journalist. And, you know, I want to support him. And he said, and I can be fodder for your job. You're enhancing me. This is going to wind up somehow on my channel to help to educate people. So you see, this is relationships. This is reducing stress in itself because we feel supported. We feel recognized. You know, I see who you are. I met your wife, for God's sake. Be a good man. You know, right, community, how we hold each other accountable. So even though I tell people to be disciplined, if you can find your tribe of like-minded individuals, they support and encourage you. Your personal discipline, it adds to their strength.
That is true.
Woo! That interaction of your personal training and then they're saying, go, congratulations, enda. You know, it's all fulfilling and that makes you happier. That reduces your stress. So I don't know your individual formula on how you're going to manage your stress, your prayer life, your community, your diet, your amount of exercise in moderation will reduce your stress. I don't know what levers you're going to pull, but pulling these levers at the rate that you can tolerate, a little at a time, but done consistently as your daily and weekly habits, scheduling your workouts, getting a little app and playing with it to monitor your sleep, to see how much you're sleeping. All of that are fun ways to gamify it. You know, and then you can see, I slept an average of 6 hours this week. Let me try to get a little more sleep. I'll go to bed a half hour earlier, you know, which means I'll make sure I eat dinner by 7. See, you can do this game and you can start to get these results.
Perfectly doable.
Yeah. Perfectly doable, just not all at once. A little at a time with consistency. We move the rudder slightly, and then in a year, your cruise ship has reached a different island entirely than your friends that kept going this way. In a year, you're in a different location entirely.
True.
But not overnight. Okay.
And the results have a way of showing.
When you do it in a gradual, holistic way, you are changing your lifestyle. That is sustainable. When you do this, it might be a little hard at first, but once you get going, it's more relaxed. You're not using willpower so much as enjoying your new habits because you feel better. And that is your encouragement to keep you going, is that you just feel better. You're happier. Exercise is the medicine for depression.
True.
Once you get this down some, you can exercise more, and that addresses depression. Take all that sugar out of your diet and get that alcohol out. That alcohol is a depressant. Just cut alcohol, and in a month you will clinically address depression in a significant, measurable way. That's why, for instance, a lot of people, the studies in the UK, they take a month off of alcohol, and then even when drinkers go back, they drink less.
Wow.
Who'd have thunk it? So anyway, I hope this sharing of information helps, guys. Do you have anything else? I know you're almost done with me.
We're almost done because...
And I'm about, 46 minutes in. This is great. I don't know what I'm going to do with this yet, but this is going to wind up on the channel. And Ndugu, I can't wait to see your article. And you probably want to get some screen grabs. We'll take some pictures.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah, because we don't have your professional photographer here.
Yeah, we will. Now, we've spoken about sleep and some of the mistakes people make when trying to lose belly fat, and actually make it worse. Maybe you might want to talk about that, the mistakes that people commonly make when they're trying to lose belly fat, and they actually make it worse.
I thought about this last night. I spent about 90 minutes answering some of these questions because I wanted to be ready with some references in case down the road people ask me, well, where did you get that from? Well, you think you know it all, don't you? I don't know it all, but I'm always learning. I'm a student, but I'm further along than a beginner. I'm a continuous journeyman. All right. Some will call me an expert, and in some areas I probably am.
You are.
But even an expert is still a student.
Yes.
When new information comes, which like they teach you, I believe you can hear this in medical schools. In 10 years, half of what we teach you will be obsolete. So when we thought low fat was good, now we know it's not. I thought that certain things were causing the clogging of our arteries. Now we find out that the butter and the saturated fat was not causing the clogging in my arteries. It's the high insulin and the sugar and the hyperinsulinism that's causing it. Oh man, I was completely wrong. So, okay, mistakes. This is what I wrote. Liquid diets, focus on calorie restriction is a major mistake. Being a weekend warrior, just going out and exercising at the football game on the weekends with your friends, rather than developing some consistent exercise habits that are done. Because when you just work out once a week or something, you're more prone to get hurt, cause an injury, in which case you're out for months. So not a good strategy. So consistent exercise habits, and then everything we mentioned above, from good sleep. These are the mistakes we make, thinking that we can stay up late and sleep till 10 or 11 a.m. and still have healthy hormones and high performance. It's not going to happen.
Okay.
Now, you can only get away with that when you are in your teens and 20s. It won't last.
But once you have crossed the 30th mark?
Well, generally speaking, if you're living in modern society with all the modern poor habits and standard diets that are pressed upon us by companies that are making a profit at the expense of our health, those catch up with us by the end of our second decade.
Okay.
Because they were bad from the very beginning. So there is no age that it starts to become a problem. It's a problem that starts to become visibly apparent by the end of your 20s.
Okay. But it's always been a problem.
It's always been a problem. No matter what your age, we address it the same way.
Okay. Yeah. Now, finally, what markers should we track beside the scale to measure progress accurately?
Yeah. The 1800s, mid 1800s is when BMI was created, body mass index. During a different time in history where they were looking at groups, life expectancy was probably 40 or under 40 years old. They were looking at weight versus height as a ratio. that doesn't take into account how much lean body mass you have, or the state of your immune system, or any of these metabolic health factors that we currently know about. So I would think that your navel circumference is your measurement tool that has the highest value at this time, not your weight on the scale. Okay? In some cases, when you start to exercise, your weight will go up, especially initially, for different reasons. You're getting a higher blood volume to carry more oxygen to your muscles because you're starting to exercise and you were a couch potato before. So because you're carrying more liquid, more water, more blood, your weight might go up slightly. You see? Half a kilogram or something. You'll see an increase in weight. So weight can be deceptive. Weight does not tell you how much fat versus how much muscle and bone density you have. What if you have naturally strong muscles and dense, strong bones? You might have a BMI that says you're obese, when actually you're just muscular and have strong, high mineral and calcium content in your bones. You see? So forget that. Take a tape measure every week and measure from your navel around your waist, because that's a good measurement of the visceral fat inside of your organs. And if you're doing this right, you'll see that start to shrink. If it's resistant, keep working at it. Sometimes your body will resist. When I was 6 inches bigger in visceral fat, the first 6 months of me trying to exercise and then getting injured because I'm carrying around this fat, it was too much fat to carry and run. So then I had to get a bike and then do something that I could do without getting hurt. It took about 6 months before I saw any improvement in my visceral fat. Because exercise alone wasn't doing it. And I didn't see much results in the first year. I saw a little change from cutting alcohol. And then that plateaued out. But I still was about 3 or 4 inches bigger. I lost about 2 inches from just quitting booze. But then to go the next step, exercise wasn't doing it. And that's when I said, darn, I'm going to have to do intermittent fasting and carbohydrate restriction. So then when I cut the carbs, it got rid of those bananas, got rid of pasta, cut the rice down, and started eating salad, meat, vegetables, non-starchy vegetables and things. When I did that, that last 4 inches was gone within 3 months. But I was strict. I did 16/8 nightly fasting. Remember, I had already spent the whole year before getting used to not drinking alcohol. So all that was well behind me, okay? And the exercise was already on my calendar, where at least 3 days a week, I was going out, walking, riding a bike, try to trot a little. Back then, I couldn't run. I had been a runner my whole life. And with 10 years off, getting fat, I couldn't run. Oh, I used to go out and then pull a muscle in my calf or hamstring or quads, and I would limp home crying. I'm like, I'm never gonna beat this. I'm gonna die. But I persisted. And eventually my body relented. Eventually it realized that I was not going to quit. And then with the implementation of intermittent fasting and focusing on my protein and healthy fat, that was when I unlocked the key. And that's when I said, oh my God, the miracle I've been looking for. And science backed it. Our ancestors ate that way before we worried about cancer and obesity, before modern factory food. And that's when I said, my God, my whole life I've been searching for these levers with information that was sabotaging getting clear results. I was pushing exercise 35 years ago and allowing people to drink alcohol and eat bread, and because we didn't know. And I was saying eat low-fat foods, which means everyone had hyperinsulin, because the science and what we were learning from the specialists, that's what they were telling us. And that's why a lot of my clients could not overcome that barrier that is plaguing us now, because we're dealing with information that is 30 or 40 years old. The new information in the last 10 years negates all of that. So I guess that's all I got for you.
Okay. I think the baseline here is we keep learning and we keep, seeking knowledge, because every other day there is a new body of knowledge that helps us.
But the basics, remember, we're not throwing the baby out with the bathwater.
Yeah.
The basics are true. Get sleep. Stop poisoning yourself with grade 1 carcinogens, which alcohol is. Get sleep. Say it again. Walk. At the very minimum, walk every day if you can. Run if you can. If you can run a little bit. Build up to being able to run 5 kilometers or 3 miles. Build up to that. And you'll have a baseline of cardiovascular oxygen uptake, which even helps to inhibit cancer. Your body's ability to utilize oxygen, cancer likes anaerobic environments to grow. This is not just my words. This is clinically proven. We can look up some of the studies if you have questions about that. But the healthier you are as an aerobic machine, the less likely you are. It reduces your cancer risk. Because then remember, you'll have less obesity, less visceral fat. All of those things are associated with lower cancer risk. So, challenge your body on a regular basis. As you get stronger, you can do more strength training, weightlifting, all the different fun stuff. Drink clean water. Drink water when you're thirsty. I don't say drink 4 liters of water when you wake up. I don't do that. Drink when you're thirsty. Again, get sleep. I think that's the 3rd or 4th time I've said that. Take some quiet time in the morning. Take some time to be at peace with yourself. You're your own best friend. Give your guts a rest nightly. That's the circadian rhythm of sun, day and night. You eat along with that cycle. That gets your hormones and your body rhythm, your circadian rhythm will become regular because your body runs on cycles. When you get in sync with that, you won't be craving garbage food. You won't be craving drugs, alcohol, tobacco. All those cravings will reduce, which gives you the head start you need. And for goodness sake, finally, last but not least, find your tribe.
Find your tribe.
Yeah.
Which is where we found each other.
Yes. we were each saving our lives and benefiting from group fellowship while sharing in the spirit of wellness, joy, good health. I was surrounded by young men and women and the Gen Zs. And because remember, most weekends I run with the older crowd. And I tell them, come on, let's go around with the Gen Z. Yeah, Tipwa. Shout out to Tipwa. I know I'm not supposed to put you guys on blast, but I love you, and I'm not selling anything, so no sponsorships are involved here. I have nobody selling a product here. Okay, so find your tribe. Please add to them. They add to you. Do these things. They'll enhance your life.
Well,
okay.
Thank you so much for doing this. As
always. My man, blessings to you and your family.
Blessings to you as well. And thank you for sharing your knowledge and for always...
Look, I have my notes here, guys. I'm not that smart.
You are smart. You are smart.
I'm smart enough to know my limitations. Okay, guys.
Thank you.